What Catholics Believe, WCB, Ohio. Well, that's a pretty on-the-nose name for an organization. I guess it's pretty obvious the type of thing we're looking at. But if you're slow, what I'm saying is we're looking at something Catholics believe. Specifically, how can we be happy in heaven if a loved one is in hell? I'm not expecting a lot of arguments here. I think it's going to be a lot of 'cause I say so. But what I am expecting is for the things that we're expected to believe because Father Jenkins says so to be interesting and or funny and worth taking a look at for their own sake, regardless of whether there's really that much meat on these bones.
I guess the question that this person is asking...
Who, me? Oh, right, no, this is a clip. Somebody probably read out a question from somebody that's not in the clip for some reason. The clip that's about answering the question. Was it that long? Why not just include the question?
Is specifically about souls in heaven. Why don't they miss those they loved on earth who might not have made it to heaven, but might actually have been condemned to hell?
Do they not? Okay, that is a weird situation to explain, I suppose. Unless God's going to selectively chop out whatever parts of their personality or memory he doesn't want. Anyway, I'm really liking the presentation here. Very serious. Lots of books, but everybody has those in the background. However, your steepled fingers make me take you much more seriously as an intellectual leader. It's the universal sign of the smart guy. I should start doing that. Finally start getting some damn respect. On the other hand, the fact that your second chin is covering up your white neck square thing, unfortunately detracts at least equally much from the illusion. You gotta prop it up on some toothpicks so we can see that thing.
And even in heaven, would we even know those we've known on earth? Or would we be like tabula rasa, all this blank slate, wipe clean and start all over again and kind of meet new friends in heaven?
Now hold on just a minute, Father. Are you telling me that in heaven I get to have friends? Oh no, I might have made a horrible mistake. How do I get in?
And not even realize whether we knew them on earth in the previous life. Well, that's not what Ecclesiastes means. We still have memories.
Okay, so we will remember the people we knew while we were alive. Will we know they're not in heaven? I feel like heaven's going to have a lot of people in it. Maybe. And if it has any physical dimensionality to it at all, it's probably infinite, I would assume, which makes it sound like it'll be really hard to find people. Then again, you're also there for infinite time, and it might not be analogous to the physical world at all. There might be no size to it, and everybody's just sort of stacked on top of each other in the thought space, in which case I guess you find each other instantly. And then I guess it'd become pretty clear pretty quick that, Uncle Joe's not there. Because he was a Catholic, of course, and the Catholics were actually Satanists, so they all burn in hell.
I guess the hardest thing for people to fathom is, how is it possible that I could have a father or a mother, or even the hardest of all, a child here on earth, and still be perfectly happy in heaven, even if my mother, my father, my child, my friend didn't make it. They went to hell.
Describing it as they didn't make it makes it sound like they got tired before the end of a marathon or something. They were running hard for that finish line of believe in the thing, but they just got too tired. Fell over before they could manage. Anyway, so is this question about how this could be the case kind of soon after you get there? You get to heaven and you just instantly don't care about this? Because the fact is, memories do kind of fade over time, at least here on Earth. I don't know how it's supposed to work in heaven, but if it works at all the same there, well, you're there forever. Forever is a long time. So if after 1,000,000 years you still have some kind of lingering sadness about your whoever, don't worry. You've got infinity millions still to go. I'm sure you'll forget that useless, sinful sack of crap eventually. But no, I don't think that's what we're talking about. I think we're talking about as soon as you get to heaven, you're perfectly happy already.
How can I be happy knowing they're not here and they never will be here? They must have gone to hell.
I mean, it doesn't really seem that confusing to me, because from my perspective, it seems like that's the whole point of the religion. Naked self-interest. The entire purpose of life is to get the infinite reward you want for yourself. So if you want my real guess, my guess is going to be something like, you're going to get there and it's going to be so awesome it'll just blow your little mind, and you're going to go, haha, I made it, screw you. Should have got clean, you filthy sinner. You think I'm wrong? I don't think I'm wrong.
Is it that we've just forgot about them entirely?
No, you just said that.
They've gone completely out of all our memory, all trace of our memories of them? No.
Yes, I know. Like I said, you just said that.
Remember the last judgment, the general judgment. We're all going to be summoned there at the general judgment.
Okay, and you're going to be seated together? Are you going to see them there or even remember who they are at that point?
So, at the particular judgment, we're going to find out what our fate is. But at the last judgment, the general judgment, every single human soul is going to appear, and the angels too.
Cool. Seems a little redundant. If everyone's already been judged when they died, what's the point of doing it again? What's he gonna do, change his mind, overturned on appeal? No. Far be it from me to question God's amazing plan. It just, if nothing changes as a result of this judgment, it seems a little irrelevant. That's all. Okay, I guess the angels still have to get judged. In Catholicism, I'm pretty sure they have free will. What do the humans need to be there for?
And we are going to witness the judgment of all mankind.
Well, no, you're not. At this point, the particular judgment of every individual member of mankind is already done, and you didn't witness any of it. So you're not witnessing their judgment. At best, you're going to witness a restatement of the judgment already performed. Of course, even that judgment wasn't actually the judgment. The judgment was already done before you were even created. God knew where you were going in the first place. So even calling the particular judgment a judgment is pretty generous.
And possibly the angels as well.
We're possibly going to witness the judgment of the angels, but maybe not, though, so we might not even be there to witness that. At least that'd be something new. If we don't even have that, it really is just a totally redundant time fill. Very cool. Repetitive bureaucracy adding nothing of importance is deeply inspirational.
And yes, our loved ones will be there, and we will know them.
Oh, all right. So at least between the particular judgment and the general judgment, you get to keep your memories. After that, though, anything could happen, right? Because the argument for why you keep your memories is that you still have them at the general judgment, which says nothing about after.
Sad to say, we will probably witness the condemnation of those we've loved, those we've known on earth.
So sad. Very sad. Anyway, here's why you won't give a shit.
But when they are risen at the general resurrection at the end of the world, those who are in the state of grace will be risen with glorified bodies.
Glorified how? Is God going to give them real nice abs and biceps and stuff? And oil them up real good? Really make them sparkle?
And those who are in the state of mortal sin will be risen in the forms of monsters. Hideous monsters.
Cool. What kind of monsters? I need some detailed lore on this. I gotta be able to picture this clearly. Are we talking like Silent Hill monsters? Kind of twisted and loping around, but fundamentally human? Or are we talking about something Lovecraftian, lots of fishy bits and tentacles? That'd probably be my preference. Or maybe it's more of an I have no mouth and I must scream type of situation. Just sort of an amorphous, vaguely almost semi-human lump monster. I'm not going to accept any of this until the monsters are clearly defined, because this is the only thing you've said so far that I actually cared about. I'm into monsters. You could say I'm kind of a monster guy. I've seen tons of monsters. I've seen them out the wazoo, and in the wazoo, and all around it, too. 10, 15 minimum.
Because their deformed bodies are going to manifest their sins.
Oh, so is it like variable depending on how sinful they were? So sort of a Resident Evil type of thing then, maybe? Where some people are just sort of shambling zombies, they're not really that monstrous, and other people turn like 5 times their size and get eyes and mouths all over them, and little whippy flippy tendrils sticking out from between the folds. I gotta say, Father, if you can promise me at least that, I'll be sorely tempted to become a Catholic. Because if I'm not gonna get to see this, which I'm not, I want to at least believe I will, because this sounds awesome.
Going to manifest their vices. And they're going to be absolutely grotesque, unlike anything we've ever seen. Grotesque.
Ooh, the worse than anything you've ever seen monster. I didn't see that coming. Good play, Father. Now here's the real question, though. Are they going to be conceivable to the human mind? Or if you see them, are they going to be so incomprehensible that they drive weak minds mad? That's where it's at. That's where this has got to go.
That will be quite a rude awakening, I imagine, for many people. Especially if you're one of those with their rather unpleasant appearance.
Why? You're not the one who has to look at you. Seems like that's a problem for the greased-up hardbodies to deal with. Especially considering that by my understanding, you'll have been in hell since the particular judgment. So not being in hell for a while, but being a little bit ugly is a breath of fresh air, if anything. Whereas the glorious body people, they've been in heaven since their judgment. This'll be the first unpleasant thing they've witnessed in possibly quite a long time. Who's really having the worst time of it?
But certainly to witness those we've known in life risen in this condition.
It's all about what you're going to see. It's all about, look at this, look at this. just like so many aspects of Christianity, this comes off as a big show, a big pageant. Like, God's gonna do whatever he wants anyway. It's all gonna go exactly how he feels like anyway. None of this really does anything, especially considering at this point everyone's already judged. This is just purely for dramatic effect. It's basically just to make it look more exciting to everyone. Or, of course, back to reality, it's for the priests to make it sound more exciting to everyone. Catholicism leans hard on that aesthetic crutch. This is no exception.
And we will see them banished to hell, even as we are, well, hopefully, welcomed into heaven.
So the point of the pointless repetition of the judgment that was already done is so that this time you get to see all the monsters and watch them go to hell, which accomplishes literally nothing because there's no changing any state of affairs at this point. The only purpose to this that I can think of at all is for you to be able to sit there talking about it, adding window dressing to the religion to make it seem more compelling to people.
So it's not as though we forget them, but our perspective has changed dramatically. So much so that we don't miss them. We do not grieve them.
Yeah, ew! Uncle Joe, you look like a monster. Gross. Get away from me, freak. I don't want you to touch my glorious body ever again.
And the reason why we will not grieve the souls that have gone to hell, we'll see how they rise, we'll see their bodies fashioned, their souls reunited with these terribly disfigured bodies. We will see them plunging into hell, and we will not miss them, and we will not grieve them. That's a fact.
Oh, come on, Bill. This isn't about facts. None of this is facts. We're not talking anything like in the factual realm here. We're having story time at best. If you disagree, wait for the general judgment and tell me then. Don't hold your breath, though.
We will know. Because of the general judgment, we will know with absolute certitude and clarity God's justice in judging them as he did.
I see. So it's the general judgment that makes you see them as trash who should go to hell and not care at all. Because you saw them as monsters and saw them getting shuffled off. And that's enough to convince you because ew. Okay, but the Catholic lore is that you've already been in heaven for a while at this point. After the particular judgment, you go to heaven, and then you get brought back to earth for the general judgment. So if the general judgment is when you cease to care about these people, what were you feeling in heaven before that? Could you feel the sadness then? Like, okay, at that point, maybe you won't know what the judgment was for people who died after you, at least for a while. But you will know, presumably, when you get there, that, oh, Uncle Joe, who died 20 years before I did, he's not here, therefore he's in hell. There's only two options. But you haven't seen him being generally judged yet, turned into a spooky monster. So yeah, I feel like you're not really answering the question, at least not fully. Your answer can apply after the general judgment, but there's potentially a very, very long time in heaven to wait before that.
We will know that God was absolutely fair and just in his judgment of them.
Do we suddenly know this because we see them as monsters, or is there some other reason? Is there like a mental manipulation going on here, or what is happening? Some specifics would be appreciated.
Not only that, we will also know that God was perfectly merciful in sending them to hell.
All right, then. You got a real uphill battle if you want to convince me of that one. But so again, where is this knowledge coming from? This absolute certainty all of a sudden of God's perfect justice and mercy and so forth? Because of course that's in no way implied by just, look at that guy, he's ugly now. Oh, look at that guy, he's being shuffled into a fiery pit again. Right? If it's just the fact of the thing, that's not going to convince everybody to 100% absolute certainty. There has to be some way in which the situation is overwhelming and overriding the thoughts of the people witnessing it. If it's going to be 100% effective on 100% of people. So again, the show is just window dressing. It's superficial. It's just appearances. What's actually happening? What is God doing to the people's minds?
We will know that. We can't really kind of fathom that idea now. But at the end of the world, at the general judgment, we will know for a fact, with absolute conviction, that God was not only perfectly just, but perfectly merciful in sending them to hell.
Right, so the answer to this person is just, don't worry about it. You're going to be forced to be on board with this by the end. You're not going to care. You're going to think this is great, even if you find that unfathomable now, because I said so. Yeah, go figure. Who didn't see that coming? Just repeat the story enough times until the person finally goes, okay, fine. I believe it, or I'll say I believe it, or I don't believe it, but I'm bored of asking questions.
We'll understand that hell is a terrible punishment, true, but a worthy punishment. And it's not the worst punishment possible.
Okay, come on. God's going to torture you in fire forever, but it could be 1 degree hotter. Is that what you're trying to get at?
That God, in punishing the souls in hell, is not punishing them with anything that is inconceivable.
Well, eternity is literally inconceivable. So,
If God were to punish sin with the punishment it deserved, that it would have an infinite punishment.
okay, well, it's a punishment lasting a non-finite amount of time, each moment of which certainly will occur, and from God's perspective already has, because God sees all of it all at once. That's an infinite punishment. Anyway, this whole thing about God's not even punishing sin enough. It deserves so much worse, infinitely worse. This religion activates my disgust response so hard sometimes, preaching total misanthropy just to help you hook in a few extra morons.
And the powers of hell, as terrible as they are not infinite punishment.
Yes, they are. A punishment of infinite duration is an infinite punishment. And don't try to pull that thing Greg Kokel tried to pull way back in a Patreon exclusive I think I made in like 2017, of which, by the way, I have like 100 now, or close to it anyway. Oh, it's not infinite. It's just never ending. There won't be an end to the suffering, but you can't experience infinite moments. At any given point, you've always only experienced a finite number of moments. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like I said, God sees all the moments of you suffering in hell, and they last an infinite distance into the future. Therefore, you do, in fact, experience the entire infinite future of suffering. It's an infinite punishment. It is not finite.
They are not commensurate to the crime committed. No one in hell is suffering what they really deserve to suffer because of the rejection of God and his love.
Yeah, the unbeliever's so terrible it can never be bad enough for the unbeliever. I get it. Anyway, I was right. It can always go up another degree. It's not infinity degrees hot in hell, so it's not infinity bad. Yeah, that was what I figured. Still, though, the assertion was it's not an infinite punishment. Obviously, that's false. What you mean is that at any given moment, the punishment is not infinitely severe in that particular moment. You speak imprecisely. I dislike you.
And they know it too, as well as the souls in heaven. They understand this.
Oh, so they're down there like, I deserve a lot worse. I'm a real piece of shit. You're really doing me a solid. Thanks, bro.
But what will enable us, most of all, to overcome all of that attachment there is seeing God for who he is.
You said the general judgment is what makes you stop caring about this, or more precisely, care about it a lot and think that it totally should happen. But so what, at that point you still have some sort of attachment. You still kind of care about these people. You think they should get an infinite number of non-infinitely severe moments in hell. And you're really happy about that, but you still kind of have some sort of interest in them as people, I guess? Which it really doesn't sound like you do, but okay. But then you see God for who he is, and that does more soul-mind washing, and you lose your attachments altogether. Is that the idea?
Infinite love, and infinite goodness, and infinite perfection. And when we see God for who he is, we will understand that he really does deserve all of our love. Love that we can't even give him, infinite love. He is worthy of all the love we can possibly give.
Yeah, no, you really won't care. God's really impressive. You're just going to be really impressed. All these people suck compared to God. Don't worry, you're never going to have to care about him again. Only God's going to matter. Only God deserves any of your love. At this point, I kind of get the picture. It's getting a little old, if I'm being honest. And there's still like 2 minutes of this to get through, but we'll do it. The message basically is like people are junk. They don't matter, especially if they don't believe in God. Care about people less, care about the religion more. That's basically the direction he's coming at this from. You'll finally realize the truth, that that's how it really is, and how you ideally should have been thinking all along.
So even our closest friend and most intimate consort here on earth, or our spouse, that love will so pale in comparison to the love that we will see in God, God's love for us and our love for him, that it will seem like any love we have here on earth is the most superficial thing and has so little power or little value to it.
I'm cutting the clips a little bit chunky here because what am I supposed to say about this? It's just cult brain rambling. God is so amazing, you don't love him enough. You can never love him enough. In heaven, you're going to find out just how not enough you love him. You're going to really realize then that you shouldn't love anyone nearly as much as God. Earth love is stupid, superficial nonsense. Forget that. Those people can go to hell for all you should care. Just think about God. God, God, God. Switch it up once in a while. Call him Jesus instead for a little extra spice. Doesn't matter. It's all good as long as it's God, 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 God.
Even the love that people have that by nature is so powerful. The love of a mother for a child is like the quintessential love here on earth. But even that love will seem as nothing compared to the love that God has for us.
Yeah, this thing that does nothing and shows no sign of existing whatsoever, that thing loves you way more than your stupid mom does. It's more important than her. You should love it more than her. Or your kids. Because I said so. I really need you to believe this. For definitely good reasons, trust me.
And the love that we in heaven will have for him. Everything else will just fade away in comparison to that. It is so beautiful.
It doesn't sound very beautiful, and you don't even sound like you think it is. You look like you sucked on a lemon. Look, he's not making any arguments. This is all just because I said so stuff. So all I really have to do here is give my opinion as an outsider. Take it or leave it. But yeah, this kind of thinking, I just see it as so incredibly antisocial. And cynical, of course. You know, people will see the same kind of stuff from religions they're not part of and immediately find it ridiculous, just like I do. They'll see how the entire point of it is just to sink you deeper into the mud of believing junk on the basis of these emotional appeals. But as soon as it's their thing, you're not supposed to point it out. All of a sudden, you're being unreasonable.
Can't imagine that here on earth. But then that's why the reward of heaven is so much greater than the punishment of hell.
You know, I think when you're operating at this level, comparisons like this don't really mean much. The infinite carrot is much bigger than the infinite stick. The stick isn't even infinite, you know, it's just infinitely long and wide.
The reward of heaven is a supernatural reward. The punishment of hell is not a supernatural punishment.
Then what is it? Natural? Subnatural? Oh, that's why it's under the ground.
You know, we can imagine it, and we can fear it. But the glory of heaven, the beauty and the love of heaven is something that is absolutely beyond the power of human imagination.
Is that what supernatural means now? It doesn't really sound right.
And only there will we really comprehend the length, the height, the depth, and so on that St. Paul talks about in Ephesians of the love of God. And therefore, really put in perspective, finally, all of this that we talk about here on earth, including the natural love we have for each other, as grand as it may seem and as perpetual as it may seem, we will see what real love is when we see the love of God.
To hell with your petty human love. Come to church. Not the most insightful finale, maybe, but I don't know how to express a gag reflex in words. I'm certainly not going to philosophize about it. This is the problem with these videos that don't really focus on any kind of arguments exactly. That's why most of the time I focus on videos that revolve around arguments, because there's a little more to bite into with those. But occasionally I think this type of thing is alright. Just enjoying something weird and disturbing and off-putting together. Anyway, I guess that's all I got here, so please subscribe, and I'm supported by my viewers. If you like the channel, maybe consider that. Huge thanks as always to all of my supporters. See you later.